Tonight on News 5 Live, Lord Michael Ashcroft sounds off on the controversial definitive agreement and the state of play in cruise tourism development. Attorney General Magali Marin Young will demit office at the end of June. Belize submits its memorial rejoinder to the ICJ, and the Belize 2023 polling survey will tell you what Belizeans think about our government leaders. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of Sherwin-Williams Paint. Sherwin-Williams Paint is one of the most reputable paints in the industry, known for its superior quality, durability, and environmentally friendly technology. We carry a large variety of products for all your home and commercial needs, such as interior and exterior paints, primers, wood stains, sealers, clear top coats, caulking, aerosols, concrete, and masonry products. Achieve professional-looking results with ease using Sherwin-Williams paint and coating. Available at Design Depot, all in one place.
The Belize Tourism Board, in collaboration with the Belize City Council and DigiWallet, present the Belize International Music and Food Festival. Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour, Belize City, Saturday, June 10th from 7 p.m. to midnight at the DigiPark. The Belize International Music and Food Festival Pre-Festival Jam is officially arriving in Belize City. Cash prizes and professional music studio recording session will be awarded. Find out who will be the big winner of the Belize International Music and Food Festival Platinum Ultra Packages. Also, the big Coca-Cola Get Your Magic On reveal at the DigiPark. After party with Tiara Shine and Band. Come sign up for your DigiWallet and get free cash in your DigiWallet. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour, Belize City. Sponsors include Smart, Coca-Cola, Belikin, the Belize City Council, Angela's Press, and Travelers Liquors.
Say them want this walker than dada, so the beer my name them call it.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment, within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The Ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
John and Kate, I checked your results. You cannot have children. I'm sorry.
Department of Human Services, how may I help you?
Yes, my husband and I wanted to know more about the Heart of Gold adoption program.
Yes, of course. I'm glad you called. Well, let me tell you more about a Heart of Gold program.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Contact the Department of Human Services and find out how you can become a foster or adoptive parent and be that heart of gold.
What's up, guys? Saudaddy here, back with some Father's Day awesomeness. So for all you wanna-be Saudaddies, or you just wanna get a gift for dad, Brothers A Bet has some mind-blowing deals on power tools, hand tools, and more. Spoil those super handy dads with top-notch brands like Skill, Black & Decker, Stanley, DeWalt, Bosch, at a ridiculous 15% off all month long. Plus, with every gallon of Berger paint you buy, get your dad a chance to win $100 every week. And some lucky super handy dad will win $1,000. A big thank you to Brothers A Bet for sponsoring this video. Guys, go out there and get those tools because they're flying off the shelves. Happy Father's Day to all my super dads out there. Like, subscribe. Saudaddy out.
Here are 6 easy changes that you can make around your home to cut down on your average electricity usage. Check that all electrical appliances are working efficiently. Use energy-saving light bulbs such as LED. They are very bright, have a lower wattage requirement, and use less energy. Unplug appliances not in use. Iron clothes sparingly. place the refrigerator thermostat at medium. Wash clothes on the shortest cycle and wait for a full load. Washing machines use the same amount of energy despite the size of the load, and choosing a short cycle is more energy efficient. Belize Electricity Limited advises you to save energy and save more.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, June 7th. I am Sabrina Daly. A public dispute surrounding the signing of a definitive agreement between the government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited in October 2020 has seen a number of sitting and former government officials having a say on the controversial issue. Beyond the recent comments made by members of the Briceño administration, including the Prime Minister himself, are letters that are being filed on behalf of various investors, including the principals of State Bank Enterprises. It's a messy situation for cruise tourism development in the country, as the fate of the three proposed projects hang in the balance. Tonight we hear from Lord Michael Ashcroft in an exclusive interview regarding the state of play in cruise tourism development.
It's been very complicated, but do remember this is not just a current event. The thought of a cruise terminal goes right the way back, since Lucas Pat owned the port and was negotiating with Carnival and had agreements with Carnival. But it never seems to get off the ground, because vested interests then interfere. And so then everyone starts to fight. And then corruption comes into it. And then you have the situation down in the south of Portico, of which had the definitive agreement not become public, this government was trying to pass it into legislation. And on full analysis, even the cabinet started to revolt. Now, I don't know if you recall many years ago when I had BTL, a little company called Intelco grew up as a competitor, which I believed, and nobody has denied it, had ministerial involvement in Intelco. And I described that as a pension plan for the boys. And so my understanding on some of this with the ports is somewhere in all of this, there's another pension plan for the boys, except I think some of the boys have actually worked out they're not cut in on the deal. But let's see where it goes.
The government of Belize is also bracing for additional court action. Litigation is pending in respect of the Port of Belize expansion project and cruise terminal. On June 5th, the law office of Glenn D. Godfrey and Company also wrote to the Attorney General on behalf of State Bank Enterprise. It concerns the definitive agreement with Portico and is written pursuant to Section 3 of the Public Authorities Protection Act. That letter reads, quote, "Our client has received approval and certain fiscal incentives from the GOB through the State Bank Cruise Docking Facility Development Act 2014. The GOB has also entered into a definitive agreement with our client on the 25th of August 2017, in which the GOB expressly covenanted to enter Alaya Support Feinstein and the company in the effort to successfully construct, operate, and maintain the cruise ship docking facility," end quote. According to Lord Michael Ashcroft, a number of lawsuits are sure to follow in the days ahead.
There'll obviously be a lot of litigation. You've got a letter recently from State Bank threatening the government. You've got litigation from Waterloo as to the way the NEAC was fixed. And all those have got to come out. They've got to be answered. How Portico got that contract by Contreras. Royal Caribbean either knew or should have known that this contract was something that they had never seen in any other jurisdiction, but yet questions weren't asked. So a lot to play for. This could be sorted out very quickly, but with all the vested interests, it's probably going to go on for some time.
Do you believe that in the case of Waterloo, that it may have been deliberate, all the obstacles that are being placed in front of it that would not allow for this particular project to be given the green light?
Of course. And at this stage, I wouldn't want to give more color to that, because all that and what happened will be in the litigation papers in due course. I think there are quite a lot that you probably are unaware of, or that the people are unaware of yet, which will see the light of day as we go down this particular path.
On Tuesday, we broke the story of the Attorney General Magali Marin-Young's pending resignation after 2 years and 7 months in the capacity as the country's chief legal officer. Earlier today, that information was confirmed by the government of Belize in a statement. News 5 caught up with AG Young's cabinet colleague, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, this morning. She shared with us the following comment regarding the AG's pending departure.
I'm very, very sorry to see Magali go. But of course, if she feels that now is a good time to get back to her private practice for the sake of her family and all that, we wish her very, very well in her future. She will be sadly missed by me in cabinet because there have been only 2 of us. Now, I can't speak to what's going to happen. Don't ask me because I don't know. But I wouldn't like to be the only woman in cabinet. I really would not like to be. However, our voices must be heard. And if I were to be the only woman in cabinet, then I won't shout, I won't raise my voice to double the level that it was, but I may have to speak twice as much, you know? So I'm very sorry not to have her full support in our government, because she has done a tremendous job in terms of all the legislation and her leadership of the Vital Statistics Unit and her reshaping and reforming of a very difficult and large ministry. You know, you have the Solicitor General, you have all the Crown Councils, and it's a huge amount of work with the level of difficulty of governance and of legislation these days. I mean, I think there was a slew of laws that we had to amend in relation to fighting against corruption and being in keeping with our international commitments according to that United Nations Anti-Corruption Convention. And she has really done a tremendous job. So I can only say thank you, Magali. I'm sorry to see you leave cabinet.
Coming up, is there a drug war in Corozal? Police rounding up suspects. Find out the details of these stories when we come back.
8 miles. That's all that separates the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River, from the dredging, the building of an artificial peninsula, and the docking of Oasis-class cruise ships. How did David Gegg get approval for his EIA, where other port projects didn't, when he's building so close to a protected area, dredging more than any other project, and docking ships 5 times larger than the Titanic, all in the marine life corridor of a protected species? Why did the Department of the Environment approve Portico's environmentally disastrous plan when they cancelled all others? Why did the Prime Minister push to get the definitive agreement passed in the House?
I can tell you why. Ask him. He can't deny it. His good friend has all the land. He has all the land. I have long said that Portico was the favored port project, the perceived, and now we can say the actual prejudices suffered by other port projects.
Here are 6 easy changes that you can make around your home to cut down on your average electricity usage. Check that all electrical appliances are working efficiently. Use energy-saving light bulbs, such as LED. They are very bright, have a lower wattage requirement, and use less energy. Unplug appliances not in use. Iron clothes sparingly. Place the refrigerator thermostat at medium. Wash clothes on the shortest cycle and wait for a full load. Washing machines use the same amount of energy despite the size of the load, and choosing a short cycle is more energy efficient. Belize Electricity Limited advises you to save energy and save more.
At The Life Company, we understand that life can be demanding and fast-paced, so we've made it easier for you to contact us. Wherever you may be, and at your own convenience, you can now access our services through our social media platforms. RFNG Life is pleased to introduce our new LifeBot service. Request a quotation, make premium payments, speak to a customer service representative, and more from right where you are in the palm of your hands. Visit our website or Facebook page or WhatsApp us at 671-5143 to try out our new LifeBot service today. RFNG Life Insurance, The Life Company.
Imagine a world where sending and receiving payments between credit unions and banks is fast, safe, and reliable. A Belize, where access to financial services is available to all Belizeans. Well, that future is now. The Central Bank of Belize has taken a big step forward in improving the national payments infrastructure, allowing for greater connectivity. By integrating the Shared Services Network, SSN, a company formed by the Belize Credit Union League to act as an operator of credit unions. SSN has joined banks as a participant in the Automated Payment and Securities Settlement System, or APS. What this means for us is that credit union members and bank customers can now make electronic payments quickly, safely, and securely anywhere in Belize. The flow of payment has never been smoother. The Holy Redeemer, St. Francis Xavier, and St. Martin's credit unions are already connected to the SSN, with more credit unions preparing to join the network. This integration in apps will allow you, as a credit union member, to make faster payments, and empowers credit unions to take charge of their members' payment and settlement services. The Central Bank of Belize is committed to ensuring the continuous development of the national payment system and to facilitate the exchange of money between transacting parties in Belize, connecting credit unions and banks for faster, easier payments. Coming soon. Please contact your credit union for more information.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
The roller coaster ride that Jasmine Horton has been on for the past few years seems to still be a part of her life. A week ago, the Supreme Court handed down a $75,000 fine and 300 hours community service to Horton for the manslaughter of Superintendent of Police Henry Jamont. It was a straightforward sentence, and we'd have thought that all's well that ends well. If Horton pays the fine, she's free to leave. On Tuesday, Horton was detained by immigration personnel after she allegedly tried to leave Belize on the strength of a Canadian-issued travel document without paying the fine. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams explained to reporters how it transpired.
She appeared at the northern border with a declaration and a temporary travel document issued by the Canadian Embassy, I believe in Guatemala. In the declaration that she had submitted, she stated that she had paid in full the money that the court had ordered for her to pay following her conviction in respect to the manslaughter by negligence charge relating to the death of Superintendent Jamont. Contact was made with the registrar of the Supreme Court, who confirmed that no money was paid to the court. And based on that, immigration notified the police, and we took her into our custody. And so we're investigating that matter now with a view to see if charges can be brought against her for making a false declaration. Based again on what the attorney had in the declaration, that she needed to pay, I think, $25,000 in order for her to have been able to receive back her passport and travel. Very strange that Embassy in Canada is going to issue a temporary travel document to someone who supposedly had a passport. I am curious to know what was the explanation she gave them that would have prompted them to give her a temporary travel document. You would have to basically say to your embassy that you have lost your passport or someone stole it for you to be given such document. So I don't know what she told them, but I am sure that had she told the embassy that her passport was being withheld as a result of a case before the court that had concluded that she needed to pay a certain fine before she gets the passport, they would not have issued that temporary document. But that's a different matter.
Late this evening, Commissioner Williams informed the media that having conducted the investigation and having looked at the court order and the statements recorded, there was insufficient evidence to prosecute Horton for any offense, especially since the entire fine has been paid. The commissioner continued that while there were some discrepancies with the declaration that Horton presented at the border, it was clear that she was acting on the advice of her attorney, who she had all reason to believe. Hence, the police have released her. Orson O.J. Elrington, the attorney for Jasmine Horton, spoke with reporters this afternoon. He contended that the travel restrictions imposed on Horton during her trial had been lifted following her sentencing. He says she was not restricted to travel when she attempted to enter Mexico on Tuesday. He told us that his client is considering a lawsuit against the Belize Police Department for wrongful detention. He argued that Horton has significant investments in Belize and would not attempt to flee the country simply to avoid 300 hours of community service.
The travel restrictions had been removed from the time she was sentenced. She had no travel restrictions, except for the fact that the registrar and the courts would have had her passport. Now, a passport does not mean that you cannot travel. The instructions are normally very clear on an order that you cannot leave the country, etc., etc. And she did not have her passport, and my understanding is that she got a temporary permit from the Canadian government because she had some emergency matters that she had to deal with. When the media has been trying to contact me, I tried my best to ascertain from the police and from the immigration department why it is she is being detained. And they have yet to give me a response. In fact, the police officers and both immigration and police officers that I have spoken to have said they don't have any reason for detaining her. It is the other party who has her that says that they have her detained. So right now, it seems to me that the government of Belize is going to have a lawsuit on its hands. There was no payment delay, really and truly. I can't say, I think that the courts facilitated the process that as anybody knows, that when the banks receive payments, it normally takes a few days for it to be processed. It was processed and the payment was made. If you have millions of dollars invested in Belize, would you leave Belize because they are saying to you, you have 300 hours of community service? Would you not return because you don't want to give community service? It just, the weight just simply doesn't match up.
On Monday night, 18-year-old Trevor Thompson was targeted by a gunman on Fobbers Road in Belize City. Was his murder retaliation for a shooting earlier that night, or was it a case of silencing the victim of brutality caught on camera a couple years ago? In that incident, Thompson was tortured, and the criminal case is still before the court. Earlier today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams gave an update on the investigation on this latest homicide in Belize City.
We know that prior to the murder, there was a shooting within the vicinity, and that shooting may have been what led to the subsequent murder of Mr. Thompson. And this can trace all the way back to a previous murder a couple years ago. We believe that it had a lot to do with that. We do have suspects that we believe are involved, but again, it happened in the dark of night, and it was raining heavily, and so the police were not out as they would have, and I guess the shooter took advantage of that opportunity. Not much people were out to have been able to see what took place, and so getting the identity of the person who is responsible at this time is extremely difficult.
Was this case still before the courts, the one that occurred in Conchel Bay when he was bullied?
Yes, that matter is still before the court, where Oliver Sutherland was charged in respect to an incident against him.
So could his death mean that perhaps that case would be killed, dead?
Well, we're looking at every possibility. We have been made to understand that he had received threats from certain persons in respect of that matter, and so that's also a possibility that we're looking at.
There was also a murder over the weekend in Libertad village in the Corzal district. Curtis Usher was shot dead and his son grazed to the head when a gunman opened fire on the family as they arrived home on the night of June 3rd. A high-powered rifle was used in Usher's killing, and it is believed that it may have been drug-related. Residents in Libertad have lost their sense of security, and the Belize Police Department is pulling no stops to ensure their safety. In fact, several persons have since been detained pending investigation, including Hugo Casanova. Casanova maintains that he is not related to the narco world, but continues to be singled out whenever anything happens in Corzal. Here's how Compol Chester Williams responds to this and the reported drug war in the north.
Bob Marley said, you could fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. I don't need to speak of what it is alleged Hugo Casanova is involved in. I think the entire Corzal or the entire Northern District could tell you about that. And for the attorney to say that every time something happens, Hugo is in custody, that again is not true. I can't recall the last time he was detained. Nonetheless, we are looking at a number of incidents in the Northern Districts where firearms have been used and persons have been killed. And certainly there is an issue in respect to the drug war in the north. As a department, we are working in tandem with the Belize Defense Force to see what we can do to stem these violence. And yes, as a part of that effort, all those persons who we believe are involved in the drug trade within the northern districts are being pursued by the police with a view for them to be interviewed and see what role or what part they are playing in what is happening in the northern districts. And so with that, it is nothing new. When something happens, it is the police duty to move in and investigate and to try to restore some sense of normalcy. If you go to the village of Libertad, you'll see that the people there are very uneasy and they expect that the security forces are going to do something to restore their sense of normalcy. And we are going to respond to the needs of the people in doing what we should to restore that sense of safety to the people of Libertad and by extension in Northern Districts. We are looking at every possibility. I can tell you definitively that what is happening in Libertad has to do with local suspected drug dealers or drug traffickers, and those are the persons we're focusing on, but at the same time we're still looking at the possibility of outside element playing a part in what is taking place.
After the break, Lord Michael Ashcroft Commission Hold on Government Economy, Tourism and Crime. We'll tell you more on that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Eight miles. That's all that separates the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River, from the dredging, the building of an artificial peninsula, and the docking of Oasis-class cruise ships. How did David Gegg get approval for his EIA, where other port projects didn't? When he's building so close to a protected area, dredging more than any other project, and docking ships 5 times larger than the Titanic, all in the marine life corridor of a protected species. Why did the Department of the Environment approve Portico's environmentally disastrous plan when they cancelled all others? Why did the Prime Minister push to get the definitive agreement passed in the House?
I can tell you why. Ask him. He can't deny it. His good friend has all the land. He has all the land. I have long said that Portico was the favored port project, the perceived, and now we can say the actual prejudices suffered by other port projects.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. They're on fire. Chiladas. Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat. They're on fire. Chiladas. From Snackers, done right, done here.
You know, Bolido been playing in this country for over 70 years now. That before my mind even born, you know. That just goes to show how cemented Bolido is in our culture and daily life. Thankfully, government recently get back for we Bolido, for we the people. So now, a publicly owned entity, Belize Government Lotteries Limited, will have management of the Bolido. And guess what? The profits will support NHI and the official charities fund, you know. That means even more Belizeans will have access to health care, you know, and other support they desperately need. And that all because of this change, you know. I don't know about you, but I love the song of this. For we fun, for we profits, for we Bolido.
Bye. Why long time did try call you?
Meet Alex.
Where they go on, man?
Alex signed up for a DigiOne Premium Bundle. He's loving it. With his free mobile plan, Alex can talk and surf on the go as much as he wants. Topping up and buying data is a thing of the past. Alex now has DigiTV. He enjoys all his games and his favorite shows, no matter if he's on the go or at home. And Alex also enjoys the fastest, most reliable home internet speeds with his DigiNet service. He is living his best life. Alex bundled. Alex is saving $70 monthly compared to purchasing these services from the other providers. Be like Alex. Sign up for your DigiOne bundle package today. DigiOne. One bundle, no hassle, exceptional value.
This was being taken with maximum seriousness at the highest level.
How is the Ministry of Sustainable Development and the Blue Economy allowing David Gegg to dock Oasis-class cruise ships, each 5 times larger than the Titanic, just 12 miles north of the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River?
It didn't get the consideration that was given, that was needed.
How are the environmental ministries allowing the creation of an artificial peninsula and docking facility for these Oasis-class ships, again, each 5 times as large as the Titanic, in this important marine life corridor? Was a legitimate environmental impact assessment even carried out? Or was the government simply checking boxes in order to approve the definitive agreement in the House?
The developers expected the bill to be passed June 9th at a House meeting on June 9th. I dare say, had it not been publicly exposed, I don't know what course would have been taken.
It would have went to the House and we would have been debating it and it would have passed.
Was the Bersenio administration treating the definitive agreement as binding?
It is going to be binding.
Well in advance of bringing it to cabinet?
His cabinet revolted against him.
What I saw there was scandalous. Cabinet wholesale basically condemned that agreement.
The developer verily believed that it would be taken to the House on June 9th.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
The results of the Belize 2023 polling survey were released earlier during a press conference at the Radisson. The exercise commissioned by Lord Michael Ashcroft was conducted by Viking Strategies, a leading U.S. political research and sovereign risk firm. It is the 11th survey carried out by the firm and provides valuable insight into the attitudes and opinions of the Belize population and contains data about government, the economy, tourism, and crime.
I started this journey just to educate myself as to what attitudes were on a number of issues within Belize, just for my own edification. And this was the first year that I felt that perhaps I would share it with everyone, and maybe I'll do this on an annual basis in order that something which happens all the time in the United Kingdom, Australia, many other countries, proper surveys of voter attitude towards all issues. And perhaps by next year we'll be able to expand it even further, and certainly before the municipal elections, so that the voters can see the issues that are important to them, or the politicians can see that too.
This comes on the heels of a fairly recent one that had to do with the monarch as well, correct? Can you speak to us a bit about that as well?
Yes, I was curious once. Queen Elizabeth II was one of the greatest statesmen the world has ever seen, and her service to not only the United Kingdom, but the realms of which she was the head of state. And so I was very curious after King Charles took the throne as to what the attitude would be for the realms. At the same time, to confirm within the United Kingdom the great affection for the royal family, or for the monarchy in general. And that came through loud and clear.
The principal of Viking Strategies also spoke about the survey and the various responses from persons who participated in the exercise. He shared a few findings that stood out from the survey.
First thing that jumped out is this survey was interesting because Belizeans, more so than in previous ones, their personal economic situation seems to be better. And I'll show you some questions that we ask that are asked around the world by Gallup, and I use them around the world. Relative poverty. It's quite frankly the best that Belizeans have felt about their ability to afford things since 2010. So our first survey. So that's interesting, but there's this discrepancy that's going on between how voters are perceiving their relative situation versus things like the cost of living, which are impacting them. So they don't necessarily, they feel like they're doing better, but they don't have confidence in the economy as a whole, and we're going to talk a lot about the cost of living and what a challenge that currently is for Belizeans. Second thing is, it's really clear, and I don't know how much of this is a result of the pandemic and tourism kind of stopping, but there is an understanding of the significant role that tourism plays in Belize, and how important it is for the nation's economy and individual prosperity. They have very specific views on the kind of tourism that they think should be emphasized. They have very specific views on sort of the points of emphasis, although there tends to be more diversion on this, whether it should be ecological tourism or medical tourism or beach tourism. There's some real opinions within the Belizeans about that, and it really creates, I think, and we'll talk about this, a need for a cohesive strategy, maybe, by a lot of sectors of Belize to say, all right, this is how we're going to sell ourselves.
We'll have a detailed analysis of the findings of the Belize 2023 polling survey in our Thursday newscast. Last evening, we reported that the Fantasy 5 and Pick 3 games of chances have been discontinued, reportedly because Caribbean Gaming Company Limited has not complied with the licensing requirements and conditions. There have been quite a few comments on social media, some in jest, suggesting that options for entertainment are dwindling. and others inquiring if the games will return. News 5 tried to get a comment from the Ministry of Investment on the decision taken by the Lotteries Committee to not renew the company's license. We were informed, however, that there was no other information forthcoming on the matter. Caribbean Gaming's last license ran from June 1st, 2018 to May 31st of this year. Today, News 5 took to the streets to ask people randomly how they felt about the discontinuance of the two games. Surprisingly, everyone who was willing to talk about it on camera said they don't even gamble.
I don't feel no way because I don't know a gambler, but policy-wise, me don't want law-abiding citizens, so if they want a legal thing then I'm going to live up to, then this is the result of that. There are consequences.
Well, I have no interest in it. I don't really buy, you know, like that.
The fact that it's no longer around and people used to buy it a lot, though.
Yes, I know people used to buy it a lot, but that was not my interest.
No more Fantasy 5 and no more Pick 3. How you feel about that?
Well, it helped me save money, you know. I can work on myself. I can try to do something positive in life. You know, I can help somebody poor, you know. I can donate better things to society, you know.
You never did buy one single ticket yet?
No, I don't gamble.
Well, thank God the people can save their money and put it to better use.
So you never did try a luck, not even once?
Not even once.
Why, you feel a bad lucky man?
I have so many children and grandchildren to feed.
Not everybody got luck, but hope and we have faith that they'll win. But then, if you don't buy, well, then...
Well, it's not around anymore, so nobody can win or lose.
And it's help you save some money, so...
You never used to buy it?
Well, no. I don't think about it, but you know one again, and you know, scratch no one again. But when I notice, all the money we spend, put it to good use, so then, you know.
The proposed $90 million tertiary level hospital in Belmopan has seen support from across the government and disapproval from the opposition. On one hand, the Briceño administration argues that the Western Regional Hospital's infrastructure has outlived its time and purpose, and that there is a need for the construction of a second national referral hospital in Belize. On the other hand, the opposition contends that the government of Belize should prioritize investing those $90 million into meeting the current needs of public health facilities across the country. Today, we caught up with Oscar Mira, the area representative for Belmopan. We asked him for his thoughts on the proposed hospital in his constituency.
The short answer is yes. And I would like to invite you guys for a tour of the Belmopan Western Regional Hospital. Built in 1970, I think the Western Regional Hospital has outgrown, it has outlasted its life. We cannot be investing in crumbling infrastructure. We need a new hospital. If you would go and look at the infrastructure that is presently at the Belmopan Western Regional Hospital, you will see that it is beyond repair. Just a few weeks ago, all the patients from the wards had to be moved to another area because the roof was leaking. They had to redo the whole roof. The hospital, as you know, and for those of us who are a little bit older than you guys, know that it was not a purpose-built hospital. It was in the past, but it has outlived its purpose. Many of the walkways, as we knew it before, had to be, they put walls on it and try to accommodate, the growing needs of our population. We're not talking about a building. We're talking about fully functioning, fully equipped hospital. We are partnering with the Ministry of Education and the University of Belize to ensure that we have a hospital that will also serve as a learning institution. The University of Belize is rolling out its medical program. We need somewhere for our pharmacists or our nurses or doctors to go and do their studies, to do their practice. And this university tertiary level referral hospital is going to do just that. I cannot emphasize more the importance of having an alternative to KHMH. I am fully in support of KHMH, and I think that we need to do more to ensure that KHMH is brought up to standard. but we also need to have an alternative hospital. And the capital, this is Belmopan, this is the capital.
When we return, celebrating the 50th anniversary as Belize.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RF&G Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RF&G Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
8 miles. That's all that separates the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River, from the dredging, the building of an artificial peninsula, and the docking of Oasis-class cruise ships. How did David Gegg get approval for his EIA, where other port projects didn't, when he's building so close to a protected area, dredging more than any other project, and docking ships 5 times larger than the Titanic, all in the marine life corridor of a protected species? Why did the Department of the Environment approve Portico's environmentally disastrous plan when they cancelled all others? Why did the Prime Minister push to get the definitive agreement passed in the House?
I can tell you why. Ask him. He can't deny it. His good friend has all the land. He has all the land. I have long said that Portico was the favored port project. The perceived, and now we can say, the actual prejudices suffered by other port projects.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Well, I can't believe the grill pan just hold the grill. Well, don't worry about nothing. You got a new one at the Belize Father's Day Fest.
Oh, that they happen again?
Yes, and this year,
Belize is giving 19% off store-wide. Yes, 19% off everything.
Why, we have for that, bro.
But wait, don't forget, the race is still on.
The Belize 100 car race, where racers will once again compete to claim the top prize and become the champion.
Anyways, look on the time. If you have this grill, I need to go.
Alright, yeah, bro. New whip?
Push the start.
Alright, big time. Boy!
Boy, Kagali push the start, man.
The Belize Father's Day Fest, Saturday, June 17th, Belize Superstore. This one you don't want to miss.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
This was being taken with maximum seriousness at the highest level.
How is the Ministry of Sustainable Development and the Blue Economy allowing David Gegg to dock Oasis-class cruise ships, each 5 times larger than the Titanic, just 12 miles north of the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River?
It didn't get the consideration that was needed.
How are the environmental ministries allowing the creation of an artificial peninsula and docking facility for these Oasis-class ships, again, each 5 times as large as the Titanic, in this important marine life corridor? Was a legitimate environmental impact assessment even carried out? Or was the government simply checking boxes in order to approve the definitive agreement in the House?
The developers expected the bill to be passed June 9th at a House meeting on June 9th. I dare say, had it not been publicly exposed, I don't know what course would have been taken.
It would have went to the House and we would have been debating it and it would have passed.
Was the Bersenio administration treating the definitive agreement as binding?
It is going to be binding.
Well in advance of bringing it to cabinet?
His cabinet revolted against him.
What I saw there was scandalous. Cabinet wholesale basically condemned that agreement.
The developer verily believed that it would be taken to the House on June 9th.
Today at the House of Culture in Belize City, the National Celebrations Commission unveiled the theme for this year's September celebrations. As with previous years, the theme was the amalgamation of submissions made by 2 individuals. During the launch, a News 5 team found out about the inspiration behind the selection. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Hope ignited, hands united, vision renewed, Belize at 42. It's the theme that was selected for this year's September celebrations and was revealed this afternoon at the House of Culture in Belize City. Around 230 submissions were made, and the National Celebrations Commission narrowed it down to 20. In the end, 2 themes were combined to make one. The Minister of Education and Culture is the chair of the National Celebrations Commission.
They shortlist 20 of them, and then the Celebrations Commission goes through those 20, and we have a process where we vote, and we go round by round until we eliminate and get down to the final team. This year, as has been in the case in the past, we've not had one team, so we've had to form a team out of a blend of 2. And that's what we did again this year.
Those 2 strong submissions were made by Dalila Moreno and Jose Avila, who received the winning cash prize.
The first thing that came to mind was that no matter what Belizeans are faced with, adversities, wonderful things, changes, economic hardships, even things like Hurricane Lisa that came along and changed many of our lives, Belizeans have faith. And faith brings hope. Whether it is a faith in God, a higher power, or even faith in oneself, it brings hope. And with hope, we are able to dream. And dreams, once we unite together and work together, we can make those dreams into visions.
As people, adults, going, moving, we all have a vision of where we want to go, but we find that as we go and we mature, the vision can change, or the vision needs recorrecting. And I believe that's where Belize is at this point.
The theme speaks to a united Belize, and officials including CEO in the Ministry of Tourism, Nicole Solano, and Mayor Bernard Wagner reflected on its significance.
Our theme speaks of hope, cooperation, and focus. These are important factors in our future success. Hope serves as the guiding light that ignites our spirits and fuels our aspirations. It is the unwavering belief that as a nation, we have the power to overcome any obstacle and achieve greatness. Hope, very important, hope, combined with the power of cooperation and collaboration, will propel us forward. As Belizeans united, regardless of our differences, we can remain focused on the path that we must take. By working hand in hand, we unlock our collective potential and magnify our impact. It is through cooperation and collaboration that we can address the challenges that lie ahead and seize the opportunities that come our way. So yes, at 42, we are no longer young and carefree, but mature enough to fully know ourselves and authentically embrace our identity as a nation.
It is really telling a story, right? They tell about hope being ignited, right? They talk about us as a country, with hands united, right? Where vision has been renewed, and all of that speaks a lot to like what the minister said about the mood in the country, right? The mood of hope, right? Of renewed vision, that people on a whole, in general, when they look towards the September celebration, they are seeing that sense of patriotism towards their country. We are heading in the right direction, and so we feel very good about this team.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Prior to independence, Belize had been a British colony since 1862. But in June of 1973, the country changed its name from British Honduras to Belize. That name change was not without conflict, as we found out from Minister of Culture Francis Fonseca, who today gave comments as the country celebrating its 50th anniversary as Belize and having our own identity.
1973 was the official name change from British Honduras to Belize. I think vitally important. A people without their own identity are lost. It's critically important for people to understand their culture, their history. And I think, it may have been a symbolic feature at the time, and people may not have fully appreciated the critical importance of the change from British Honduras to Belize. And in fact, some people were opposed to the change, strongly opposed to the change. They wanted to remain British. And so I think, a strong national identity that began that process of us identifying ourselves as Belizeans. And over these past 42 years, we have come to learn and appreciate what that really means. What is being a Belizean? What does that mean to each and every one of us? So I think it's a critically important milestone. 50 years, as you said. It's a good time for us to reflect on our national identity and our history.
Up next, St. Martin's Government School introduces feeding program.
Tour guides, your renewal season is coming up. Please be advised that all tour guide license expires on July 31st, 2023. BTB will start accepting applications for renewal starting May 1st, 2023. Tour guides, we're asking you to apply early in order to have a new and valid license before the current one expires. To submit via email, you'll need a clear scan of each document in PDF format and properly named and labeled. Send your application with all supporting documents to tourguide@belizetourismboard.org and include your full name and your tour guide license number in the subject line of the email. Remember to fill out your applications correctly, as BTB will no longer be accepting incomplete applications. Contact our licensing officers at 227-2420 and press 1 if you have any questions or concerns.
My name is Wilmer De La Rosa from Santa Elena Town. I am currently a student at Cayo, set for employment training. Enrolled in the electrical installation program. In late July 2021, I got a confirmation that I was a successful applicant and would be granted a scholarship from Social Security Board. It was one of the proudest moments for me. I felt very excited to start this new path in my life. So far on my journey as a Social Security Board scholar, my vocational technical scholarship has assisted me in achieving my life goals in so many ways. For one, it has renewed sense of purpose, another chance at professional development, and a start at a new career. This opportunity has paved the way for me to excel in life as an individual and as a member of society. Great things are coming after I graduate from SET. I can promise you that Applying for a vocational technical scholarship through the Social Security Board is simple and easy. I would advise young people in need to apply. It is possible to create a fulfilling and fruitful life with a Social Security scholarship. Believe in yourself and your abilities and skills. I always say the key is to always keep an open mind and let your determination be your motivation.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
This was being taken with maximum seriousness at the highest level.
How is the Ministry of Sustainable Development and the Blue Economy allowing David Gegg to dock Oasis-class cruise ships, each 5 times larger than the Titanic, just 12 miles north of the Southern Lagoon Manatee Reserve and its outlet, the Manatee River?
It didn't get the consideration that was given, that was needed.
How are the environmental ministries allowing the creation of an artificial peninsula and docking facility for these Oasis-class ships, again, each 5 times as large as the Titanic, in this important marine life corridor? Was a legitimate environmental impact assessment even carried out? Or was the government simply checking boxes in order to approve the definitive agreement in the House?
The developers expected the bill to be passed June 9th at a House meeting on June 9th. I dare say, had it not been publicly exposed, I don't know what course would have been taken.
It would have went to the House and we would have been debating it and it would have passed.
Was the Bersenio administration treating the definitive agreement as binding?
It is going to be binding.
Well in advance of bringing it to cabinet?
His cabinet revolted against him.
What I saw there was scandalous. Cabinet wholesale basically condemned that agreement.
The developer verily believed that it would be taken to the House on June 9th.
$15,000 worth of kitchen appliances were handed over to St. Martin's Government School in Belmopan. The appliances come as a donation through the Mesoamerica Hunger Free Project, led by the government of Mexico. A brief ceremony was held on the school's compound where we learned more about how the kitchen appliances will help to fight hunger in the community the school serves. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
The primary school students at St. Martin's Government School in Belmopan were elated today to receive a number of kitchen appliances from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Food and Agriculture Organization, and the Mexican Agency for International Cooperation and Development towards the establishment of a school feeding program.
As you can see here today, we are working along with different organizations. For today, we have been donated appliances and we are awaiting other hardware that will be used to refurbish this building that we see behind us.
The equipment will be installed inside a refurbished school kitchen that will be providing nutritious meals for students that are most in need. Oscar Mira, the area representative for Belmopan, was present at the handing over.
If you as a child don't have this meal in the morning or you don't have lunch, your learning in the classroom will be very off. So it is a way of us making sure that you get maximum value from the classroom. These children, as you know, come from different backgrounds, different families, financial situations. And especially back here in Salvapan, San Martin, Mayamopan, it's hard. I grew up in this area and I know. I grew up in a family of 10 and it wasn't easy just to put a meal on the table.
Garrett Murillo of the Ministry of Agriculture explained that the ministry has been working to promote its farm-to-table policy across the country to decrease lifestyle illnesses like obesity and diabetes. He says that equipping schools to provide healthier meal alternatives to their students is a step towards decreasing the occurrence of these illnesses.
We all observe the high incidences of lifestyle illnesses such as obesity and diabetes. And many of us have taken conscious decisions to live and eat more healthy. But there is no better opportunity to influence and to encourage healthy eating than in children and at schools. And so at the Ministry of Agriculture, we have further collaborations with FAO, the Ministry of Education, and with, of course, our neighbors and friends from the government of Mexico.
Through this initiative, we have witnessed firsthand how a well-designed and effectively implemented of a school feeding program that can be a powerful tool in combating hunger and malnutrition.
Principal Trejo further explained that the feeding program is expected to be launched at the start of the upcoming school year.
So we will be going through a selection process. We are familiar with the community, with the families that are most in need, and these are the students that we will be targeting first. We have yet to sit with our team to decide which meal and how many meals we'll be able to provide. It all depends on how many resources come into the school.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
There are no confirmed cases of the highly pathogenic avian influenza in Belize. That piece of information comes as good news to the industry after various tests were conducted by the Belize Agricultural Health Authority. But industry stakeholders are not sitting by idly waiting for a confirmed case. Today, the Ministry of Agriculture hosted a meeting with the Belize Poultry Association's Poultry Health Committee to review and update the country's avian influenza emergency preparedness plan. Past experiences have taught us that the spread of the virus can have damning effects on the poultry industry. We met up with a few of those industry stakeholders following their meeting in Belmopan.
I think it's a very, very critical, a very important meeting as it pertains to avian influenza. You know that avian influenza is a zoonotic disease. It affects poultry. So basically what's happening today under the One Health approach, we are meeting, it's an intersectoral, ministerial meeting where we come together to communicate and coordinate primarily the emergency preparedness and response policy plan in should we have an incursion of this disease, of the highly pathogenic avian influenza. We are cognizant that the avian influenza has been reported in wild birds and in our neighboring countries, Costa Rica, Panama, Yucatan, Guatemala, and Honduras. So hence the importance of us meeting together to devise a plan, know exactly who will play what role, should in case we have this disease coming into the Belize.
We have been keeping a close watch on the spread of highly pathogenic avian influenza through the Americas since it first entered the Americas in December 2021. It was first detected in Canada, and then now it is in Brazil, and it has been in South America, Central America since October to now. Because if the highly pathogenic avian influenza was to hit commercial poultry in Belize, or even if it enters through backyard poultry, it could spread very quickly, and so we're very concerned as the industry. But right now the risk for us is more from wild birds. So it has been reported in wild birds in Honduras and in Guatemala. So we have been looking at working with Baja, working with the Forest Department to ensure that if birds are sick, that samples are being taken and that Baja is testing those samples. So far, that has worked. So Forest Department, Baja, and us, that we know then that the birds tested so far have all been negative. But we cannot put down our guard.
Today, RET International handed over standard operating procedures for all residential care facilities that work directly with human trafficking victims. It is a key component of the organization's Safe Belize project. At the Biltmore Plaza in Belize City, representatives from existing facilities, as well as the Ministry of Human Development, signed off on the document, committing to improving the services being provided to this vulnerable group of persons. Service delivery and the classification of needs of the victims were among the gaps identified during the consultation leading up to today's handing over.
To provide a more comprehensive and standardized procedures for shelters to be able to operate and provide the best quality of services, wrap-around services, trauma-informed care services for victims of trafficking. And so we started this work, the project, back in 2021 and had a series of consultations, meetings with government and non-government organizations, review of policies, other frameworks that are in place to get us to this point of the development of the SOPs.
It's a good day because it is a day of all the partners coming together to say, look, if you're going to have a shelter here, whether it's in Corozal, whether it's in Toledo, there will be procedures that are followed. And it's a good thing to get it right. As I said in my remarks earlier, we need to get it right. And if one shelter is offering a particular procedure or a particular set of services, then another one should do the same.
The reason why this SOP is very important is to have documents and policies in place of what should happen when a victim goes into these residential care facilities. What HTI will be doing as part of our mission to work along with the government is to do training with these residential care facilities and also foster families who have to work with victims of human trafficking. It's a different dynamics. The job is very tedious because you have to remember victims do not trust authority, and so it's an even more dedication on these residential care facilities as well as foster families that works along with trafficking victims.
There are currently 3 existing facilities. Part of the project involves the establishment or identification of 3 other facilities. On the topic of human trafficking, we asked Minister of Human Development, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, for an update on the situation on the ground in Belize in terms of trafficking in persons. Back in 2022, the U.S. State Department issued its Trafficking in Persons report and ranked Belize at Tier 2. It was an upgrade from the previous year because, according to the report, the government of Belize does not fully meet the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking, but is making significant efforts to do so. It referenced the conviction of 2 traffickers and the expansion of the anti-trafficking police unit. Minister Balderramos Garcia says that efforts have been made by GOB to get things right.
One of the challenges is that the United States Embassy tend to look, well, I should say the United States State Department, no? They tend to look at the level and the number of prosecutions that you are able to carry forward and successfully. No, I can't speak to that for this year, 22 coming into 2023. I can't speak to that because I'm not aware of an additional amount of cases, but we did have some cases between 21 and 22 that were very successful. However, I think the U.S. State Department also looks at collaboration and the kinds of efforts that we are making now to get things right. So I'm sure that we would be stepping in a very good direction today with having those good procedures for the shelters for victims of trafficking.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.